Hello everyone, it's Marie here from Pepperly Rose Paper Crafting. I'm from Sydney, Australia. Thank you so much for joining me. Sorry, I'm just adjusting the camera there for a second. Today I'm going to be making a different kind of Christmas card. So I'm going to be using the Stampin' Up Mountain Air bundle, which is a current stamp that you can buy in the annual catalogue. And I'm going to use this cool die cut here. And it is a Santa with a cockatoo on his bag there of goodies, and 3 kangaroos pulling the Santa sleigh along. I had cut this out in advance because this comes from a die from Paper Rose, and it's a Santa pulling a this with the kangaroos, and this can be found at Paper Rose. I will link the product below, but I don't have it to show you in advance. I misplaced my die. Don't know where it went. I have no idea. I was mucking around with it, and then I just die cut this. So that's the die cut there. It's really cool. I thought I'll do something a little different, and using the Mountain Air bundle. So that's the stamp set along with its matching dies, which look like these. Okay. What I've done in advance, just to save some time, is I have die cut what I need to use. So I cut out 2 mountains. So I cut these 2 out. They coordinate with this image. And I cut out 2 trees, which come in that bund with the dies. Now, what I'm going to do with these, I used Very Vanilla to cut these out in advance. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ink blend the colours that I want onto them, just to make them come to life. I'm using a panel piece here of Very Vanilla cardstock regular, and some thick with Very Vanilla cardstock here as well. So I'm just going to fold and burnish the score line that I've done. It's half an A4 scored in half again, and that makes it an A6 card base. So you can feel free to use whatever kind of dimensions you want. So I don't really give dimensions on my videos because this can be easily adapted to whatever you want to use. And that's Very Vanilla again. Now, this will all be ink blended. So what I'm going to do with these mountains to start off with is I'm going to ink blend those with my Distress Oxide inks. I'm going to use a couple of colours with it. I'm going to use some, these are my 2 favourite browns actually, Ground Espresso and Gathered Twigs. So what I'm going to do is grab them both, grab a makeup brush that I have dedicated specifically for Distress Oxides, and I'm just going to use some Gathered Twigs on this. So I'll just give this a wipe and make sure that I've wiped everything off it, because it looks like there's a bit of red. No, it's all good. So I'm just going to get the Gathered Twigs, and I'm just going to ink that just down like that. So I've just finished now ink blending that with Gathered Twigs. So it's really simple. I just laid it on really thick colour. So I'm just going to clean my surface here a little bit. And then I'm going to use that same brush with a bit of Ground Espresso. And I'm just going to wipe the ink off. So I'm going to use now the Ground Espresso. And I'm just going to ink blend along the bottom, just slightly here like that, and just to give it some shading right round like that. Get some more Ground Espresso ink, and I'll just go right round. Okay, and then go right round again. And then what I'm going to do is stamp the actual image of the mountain, which is this one over here. I'm going to stamp that on there in Ground Espresso ink. So just give me a second whilst I clean this all up. Grab the stamp set. Funny story with this stamp set, when I finished with Stampin' Up and I resigned as a demonstrator, I I already had this set, and then I sold it after I'd finished to a customer of mine, and then I ended up buying it again because I really did like the stamp set and I felt bad giving it away, so I bought it again at a full price. But for me it's worth it because it's a great stamp set for all sorts of things. So I'm just going to grab now a block that I can use, and I'm going to stamp that now in gathered twigs so it's nice and dark. Oops. And I'll just stamp over the top of that now. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's just mountains, but that's how that looked. Go over the top of it again where I didn't get the ink, and that looks a lot better. And then I'll do this one as well. So I'm just basically colouring everything from scratch. And what I want it to be is kind of like a desert, I know it sounds weird, but like a desert sunset, which I think will look really cool. So that's the look I'm going for. So I'll just bring this closer now, and I'm just going to stamp the mountain on there. And I'll turn it over and I'll just give it a bit of a push down to make sure that I stamp all of the image. And it doesn't have to be perfect. So that's that. So I think that looks really cool. Okay, like that. Give this a bit of a clean. Okay, now I'll just grab the rest of my die cut. So it's just the trees here. And again, I'm going to use my makeup brush, and I'm going to dye that with the ground espresso ink. Now colouring in these images, so they look like that. So it's a lot of brown, I know. But I'll see if this works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm just giving it a go. See how it all goes. I'm just having fun experimenting at the moment and just playing with non-traditional kind of colours and using my Distress Oxides, because I'm having a lot of fun with these dyes. Inks, they're really, really good. They're dye pigment inks, so they're a bit of both. And I think they're wonderful. So that brush is now done. I'm going to grab this brush now. And what I'm going to do is just grab that, just clean my hands to make sure that they're not inky in any way that will transfer onto my card here. All right, so this colour here, just to let you know, this is a close to my heart cardstock, and I don't know what the colour is. I think it's called Espresso, but I'm not 100% sure, so I'll just... This was just a practice colour, and I thought this would be actually a great colour to use. So what I'm going to use for this is, I'm thinking of using Stormy Sky. Thinking of using Barn Door, some Wild Honey, and some Fossilized Amber inks. That's the idea. I'm not sure if it'll work out or not, but I thought I'd give it a go. So I'll start off with the Fossilized Amber towards the bottom, and then I'll work through all the colours, and I may change my mind and bring in some Wild Persimmon as well with that. So yeah, just go with the flow. So I'll just start off with the lightest colour, the Fossilized Amber. blending that background. So I wanted it to be like a deserty kind of a look to it. In any case, what I need to do next is I'm going to ink blend some fossilized amber onto this. So I'll just grab that and I'll just do that. And then I'm going to get the sun or the moon, you can make it either or. I'm going to make it into a sun. And I'm just going to grab the stamp. I'm going to use the back of this block since it's out. And I'm going to use some wild honey and stamp with that over the top. So you can hardly tell, but that's okay. It's like a tone on tone almost. And then what I'm going to do is use my 1-inch circle punch. Stampin' Up doesn't sell these anymore, but you can always pick one up readily. So it's the 1 inch, and that will make a little, like a sun. And I'll just clean all of this up and then I'll come back. So I've just finished now cleaning everything up. So I'm just going to bring all of my little bits and pieces here and I'm just going to lay on everything. And just, you know, put it where I think it'll look nice. Like that maybe. And I'll have a think. Then I'm going to add my trees over the front. Now this is very similar to a card I've made before. And it was a sunset. But yeah, this one is a little different because the colours are different. So I'll put that sun moon thing there. And then I will have these kangaroos going over the entire front there, like that. I think that looks really cool, very different. I quite like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stick all these things down. And I'll just organise this so that can sit better. Going to stick this onto a very vanilla card base and it will look like that. I think it looks spectacular, to be honest. I really like it. It's a very different kind of a colour scheme and I was going for like a, you know, a desert sort of colour because here in Australia we don't have snow and we're not in winter, we're in the heat of summer. This, I think, looks nice, especially in our mountain regions as well. Oh, there's a little bit here that I didn't trim. Get that off. And now we're going to put that on here. And our Christmas card with a difference is complete. So this is how it looks. I hope you all like it. I will link this die for you in the description box below but that's how my stamp looks, and everything was die cut and ink blended with my Distress Oxide. So I'll go back over the colours I used. So it was Wild Honey, Fired Brick. No, it wasn't Fired Brick. It was, sorry, Ripe Persimmon Barn Door, Fossilized Amber, Ground Espresso, Stormy Sky, and Gathered Twigs. Those are the colours I used throughout this card. I hope you liked today's tutorial. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me a question in the comments section. I'll be more than happy to get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any suggestions for any future videos you would like to see with newer or older stamp sets that you want just to see more stuff on, let me know. I'm more than happy to take on suggestions. Thanks for coming past, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.